A ruling out of a Dutch court is being hailed as a landmark decision with far-reaching implications for environmental policy worldwide. The court has ordered the oil company Royal Dutch Shell to reduce CO2 emissions more quickly. CBC's Dominic Velitis is tracking this story live from Bristol, England. So walk me through this court ruling, Dominic.
Yeah, as you say, Suhanna, this was an historic case, the first we think of its kind in history, and a landmark victory for environmentalists. And although today's ruling is only legally binding in the Netherlands, Suhanna, it will have far-reaching implications. Let's start, though, with what all this means for the company in question, for Royal Dutch Shell. It means it is now liable for greenhouse gas emissions caused by the burning of fossil fuels, which it has extracted. It will now have to align its future policies with the climate goals set out in the Paris Agreement to keep global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius. And as such, it will be required to drastically cut its emissions by 45% by 2030 compared to 2019 levels in order to bring it in line with the Paris Agreement. We don't know, Suhanna, exactly what this means for Royal Dutch Shell itself. The company hasn't commented yet, but the ruling also has potential implications for the global fossil fuel industry, as it opens up the possibilities that other big firms could be sued by environmentalists for climate inaction, that courts elsewhere in the world may be guided by today's ruling in the Netherlands. And incidentally, this is a route that environmental campaigners are increasingly taking. Indeed, it's estimated there are nearly 1,700 climate change cases currently targeting companies and governments around the world. Suhanna.
So definitely a lot at stake here. Just how did we get to this point?
Well, the case itself was brought by the Dutch branch of Friends of the Earth and more than 17,000 Dutch co-plaintiffs. And they had argued in court back in December that Royal Dutch Shell was violating its duty of care and, in the process, threatening human rights by extracting fossil fuels and undermining the Paris Agreement's aim of lifting temperature increases to less than 1.5 degrees Celsius. And as we know now, Suhanna, the court has agreed. Now, we understand that Shell's lawyers are deciding at the moment whether or not to appeal against the ruling. But either way, Suhanna, it must act immediately, because the judge in this case has said that the emissions reduction order will not be suspended, awaiting any appeal. So if Shell goes down that road, so the order is now in effect and it has to be implemented immediately. Suhanna.
Thank you, Dominic. CBC's Dominic Velitis in Bristol, England.